Hi everyone, hope you're all well out there. If you haven't been here before, welcome to Rocket Rose Art. My name is Jeff. In this glass fusion video, we're going to be making a long, narrow platter with a slight curve in it. And we're going to use a technique that I've used in another piece that worked well, so we'll try and duplicate it in this one. And it's going to be using iridized black glass and some dichroic glass. And I think you'll find it interesting if it works out. It will be decorated as well as being sandblasted on top, so it's a couple of different things going on here this week, and it should be interesting. Now, if you've got any questions about this, don't forget, put them in the comments section below and I will try and answer them for you. And give me your feedback on whether you like the technique, don't like the technique, anything at all really. Just love to hear from you. Give me that thumbs up if you like the video. Don't forget, share it around to your friends. I'd appreciate that. Subscribe if you want to, and there's a thanks button down the bottom where you can help support the channel. And thank you if you've used that thanks button before. I really appreciate that, because I'm really trying to get rid of that old tile saw, and every little bit that goes into the fund for that. So let's get on with making this platter. As usual, the very first thing is the design, the materials, and the equipment you may need. First thing, I need to apologise for the sound in the background. We've got a kiln clicking away, and I've got a heater running here. It's extremely cold here at the moment. Let's get on to this design now. The design is based upon a piece I made once before. I haven't done many using this, and that worked out really well. And in fact, I will probably never sell that, because I just love it so much. The idea here is to get some depth into this, almost like you're looking into space type thing, and with a bit of colour, not a lot of colour, just enough to give a bit of a mystery to it. The iridized does that really well, and the dichro is a bit of a feature. So, excuse me. The top of it will be sandblasted. It won't be fire polished, but it will also be decorated on top. Now, it's going to be hard to describe, so hang around and you'll see how I do that a bit later on. So that's the basic design for it. The materials used are the iridized black. Now, this does come in all sorts of iridized colours, I suppose, is the way you'd say it. We're going to use some clear, and we're going to use some dichroic. This is just a piece of dichroic that I had there that I really like, because its reflective colour is very bluey, magenta, purpley, I suppose is what you'd say. Now, I expect it to change with heat work, but hopefully it won't change too much. It won't go too dark or anything like that. So they're the materials. Special equipment, only if you've got a cold work. I'm hoping I won't have to cold work this, but obviously if you've got to cold work it, you will need something to grind the edges, sandblast it if you're going to sandblast it, and so on. Now, if you haven't watched my channel before, just let you know that everything that I use here is Bullseye COE 90. So the firing schedules that I give you may need to be adjusted for your kiln and whatever COE you're using as well. Don't forget your safety. Make sure you wear your safety glasses when you're cutting your glass, and when you're cleaning up, like cleaning up the thin fire off the shelf or spraying boron nitride, make sure you're wearing a mask as well. Something I didn't mention before is this is the mold I'm going to use to slump into. It's something I had made up for me. It's using sheet stainless steel. It has a nice gradual curve in it, and I really like that. It gives a really nice finish to the platter, and because it's only a gradual curve, you can still use that platter to sort of sit a couple of bits of fruit on it or something like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut some glass. I'm going to cut this so that the piece is nice and square on all the corners, then cut a piece of iridized on the bottom to match that. They will be fused together along with this little piece of dichro, which is going to be sat on the top with the dichro side facing down, because I want to preserve that dichro, but I don't want it stark. If I put it that way, it's going to be pretty stark on the top. I want it to be a lot more subtle, so I am going to fuse it face down. Now, something about that dichro, it has a very textured surface on it, and I've found that whenever I use this and with it down like that, I often get some little bubbles, but I'm not worried about that in this piece, because a couple of little bubbles down there will actually just add a little bit more interest to the piece. So I'll get on now and I'll cut the glass. So I'm just going to cut some thin fire paper here, and what I normally do is cut it about 1 centimetre larger on each side, of course, than the piece I'm going to fuse. So that makes this way 30 long and 16 wide. So assembly of this is very straightforward. I've just cleaned glass. I've got the clear on the bottom, I should say clear on the top, with the smooth side down, and a little bit of dichro over here. So I'll just get this in the kiln now and we'll do a full fuse. If you've never seen iridized glass fused before, that's what it looks like. It looks really nice, especially with that graduation of colour. And that's the bit of dichro that I put on top. So that's all fused up well. So now I'm going to decorate this, and you're probably wondering how I'm going to decorate this. What I'm actually going to do is, and I'll put this just down here, which I'll show you first. I've drawn up a bit of a plan here. That's my piece of glass, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask these clear areas, and I'm going to sandblast the other areas. I'm going to keep this clear and mask these, just these clear areas, so that we'll have like radiating rays coming out from the dichroic piece here. That'll be done with, this is just stencil vinyl, that same stuff you use on, say, a cricket machine if you've got one. But look, I think just normal vinyl will work. I haven't tried it, but I'm sure it will work. And I'll be sticking this down on there to protect those areas. I'll be using my trusty little knife to cut it once I've stuck it down, to peel off the areas that need to be sandblasted. Hopefully it'll all work well. I will have to protect this as well. Now that does mean I'll probably have some overlap in here, so I'll have to do that as tight as I can so I don't get any sandblasting in that join there where they will join. Okay, I've masked it all up. I won't show you the whole video of that because it just was a bit painful watching me trying to take the backing tape off of all of this. But it's all done, and now it's just a matter of sandblasting. And I am going to sandblast the back, by the way. So it's all sandblasted. Hopefully my masking's worked and I've got nice straight lines. I'll find out in just a moment when I take them off. Got some little bits here on the bottom that are just part of the glass, the way the glass is, unfortunately. But let's take some of these masking pieces off. So I've just got a wet rag here that should show you how this is going to look once it's slumped and these areas have polished slightly. So we should get that subtle sort of difference. This will probably be a little bit more polished, hopefully not too polished, but we will get that subtle pattern in there. That's the plan anyway. Okay, so clean this up and we'll get it on the mould and in the kiln. Yes, I have a little bit of a soft spot for these. I think it's my technical nature, having been a programmer for many years and having a love for science, all things science basically, physics, astronomy. The technical nature of this appeals to me in a big way, which is why the other piece that I've done that this is based on will never part. I'll never part with that. It's never going to be sold. And it's even going to be hard to part with this one. I hope you can see that there's, with this technique of masking off and sandblasting certain areas to get that nice satin finish on that, you could do all sorts of patterns in this way. It doesn't have to be iridized glass or dichroic glass, of course. You will still get that nice subtle difference in colouring. And the dichroic adds a whole new dimension. So hopefully give that a go. Send me photos if you do. Sorry for the noise. And I'd love to feature them. Got any questions? Don't forget, put them in the comment section below and I'll try and answer them for you. And if you want to watch a couple more videos right now, you'll find a couple of suggested ones up there. Our subscribe button's right there. Don't forget your notifications. And until the next video, I'll say bye for now.